evening, and welcome to Dune Awakening, which doesn't appear to be sharing for everyone. Just give me 1 second while I just work out why not. Why? That should be 2. Okay, so we should all now be in the game. Sorry about that. I clearly had something turned off that I hadn't realised I left turned off, or even realised I switched it off, to be fair. Welcome to Dune Awakening. Today we are on Hagga Basin, and I haven't shown you. You've not, no one, unless you've been watching the odd stream here and there, would have seen any of where we are right this very second. And I don't think, no, I didn't do a stream. I was actually meant to do a stream over the weekend and cover Dune Awakening, and didn't end up doing the stream for Dune Awakening because I started off in GTA, and the plan was to start off in GTA and at some point later in the weekend do Dune Awakening. Unfortunately, things happened. I had loads of stability issues. I ended up spending a load of time doing that, which meant I also didn't continue the whole of what I was planning to do for GTA, and you didn't get to see any of Dune Awakening. So welcome to the new base in Hagga Basin. This base is huge. You have seen parts of this base being built. You haven't seen that big monstrosity. I don't know what to really call it. I was going to claim it's the biggest pyramid in Dune Awakening, but I'm sure someone has built a bigger one, because I could build one bigger than this with the land I've got. I just won't, because there's ridiculous and then there's ridiculous, and obviously I wanted multi-levels. Obviously what the parts that you have seen, so you've seen the bottom right and bottom left, depending on which way you look around, bases or bottom kind of base parts being built, and you also seen me make the skywalk, as I call it, between the two. On the last stream that I did that you guys would have seen, you would have seen me trying to work out what I was going to do for the second level and what I was going to do for my Sky Airport. Now, unfortunately, the Sky Airport has died, the idea. The concept, while I had a beautiful concept, it's just not going to work. The span between the available supports just goes too far apart, any higher than where I am now, really. So we are at the highest level where you can still span across from one side to the other and have just like one building. That doesn't mean to say down the line I might not make a sky kind of pad, which is really high up, maybe as high as that goes, and I won't be able to do it off this one purely because I don't own enough of that kind of, whatever you want to call it, mountainy, pokey and thingy rock. I only literally have like the very inner edge there, so I could build something off it and hang it over, but it might look a bit weird. So my thinking at the moment might be to build on the other side, which won't be quite as high, I don't think, maybe, but we'll see. I might play with that idea, I might not. At the end of the day, this is supposed to be a solo player base, and this base is way big enough, like I gave a hint to yesterday, for a big clan to run or guild. So realistically speaking, this is more than what I need for my own needs, and it has, you know, full usability that if you had tons of players, it wouldn't be hard to make it so that they could use it, more and more players could use it. Effectively, what we could do if we wanted to is we could build out more of these going up and have a number of these kind of sky places where you can come and land your stuff. There's tons of storage access. The whole reason why we made the bottom level here was for two reasons. One is because obviously I needed somewhere that I can store the big container, hence why this has a big hole in the roof, because the whole idea is that the carrier comes off, hovers, and can literally just pick up the actual the cargo container from exactly here, and it'll be dropped here, and we can have like, I don't know how many. Haven't built one yet, so I don't know how big they are. They look huge, but I don't know how huge at the moment. So I might need to alter this a little bit, or at least maybe only have one or two in it, rather than, because I was thinking maybe I could stack 4 side by side, but I think that's a bit optimistic. And I have had a few attempts at trying to just pick out this from this area, and it's way more challenging than I thought it was, because I hadn't really taken into account that when I go to pick up, it doesn't point down in a way that you can actually see in here, so you literally pick it up blind. Some design flaws, you only realize these things when you kind of test it to see what it works like. But yeah, it is what it is. I'm obviously going to also make this into a massive warehouse as well, with tons of the big storage containers. But my first thing first that I really want to do is to build at least one of the large containers, so I can realize just how big it is, and whether or not how it's going to fit in here. It's not whether it's going to fit in, it's like how I'm going to fit in here, and still keep to what my original plan was, where I can store it, pick it up through the Panther shield, and obviously it's protected whilst it's like being stored in here on, say, Cronus wipe day, etc. Or whenever, at the end of the day, it'll be probably stored here indefinitely, apart from obviously taking stuff out to the deep desert. I'm not sure whether or not I'll actually keep stuff out in the deep desert. Obviously, I am going to make an outbase out there when I do plan to be out there that week, and that was always kind of my plan. But the difference between what I had been doing to what I'm going to be doing now in the future will be, rather than me having to build all the facilities out there each week, I'll no longer have to be doing that, because, well, I have literally all the facilities here in Hagga Basin, and now that we have the container here available in the game, we can now actually bring everything back, because that has 15,000 volume, which is more than enough to bring back all the resources that we'll be able to farm out there in the week. So there's no more having to try and get all this gear out there, because even though you only need half the actual resources to build all of this stuff, you still have to get it out there, and you still have to bring it back. And with the container, yes, you can do that now, and you have to do that one trip, but it's just the inconvenience of having to build it all and then take it all down and then build it all. It's like, it'll be easier just to put up a basic shell that allows us to operate from while we're out there, and then not have to worry about bringing stuff back, because if for whatever reason we forget, like I've done before, to decommission the base that before the Cronus wipe, then it just means that we can then not be too worried, because we've only lost some, not very valuable resources, and hence why I don't really want to keep the container out there, obviously, or the carrier. While we would be able to get those back though, and from the time I did lose my vehicle and stuff out there, and having the stuff stored in one of them, I know that I'm actually going to get all the stuff back that's in them as well, which would actually be alright with the container. So it would be end of the world. However, obviously, I'm guessing that there is going to be a durability use on using the container, and obviously, I don't want to kind of like really leave that stuff out there a few times, and then we start having to needlessly repair it and stuff like that, and it starts getting basically damaged, because Lou keeps forgetting to bring his stuff back every week. So yeah, I think it's probably just safer if I just use it for transporting there and back. And I'd rather just do that. I know it's like going there and back twice effectively, because I would be leaving it out there, but I'd rather that than maybe leaving it out there. We'll see, I suppose. It just really depends as well how much I'm playing in the game, because I only really want to set up out there if I'm planning to be out there, you know, for enough time that makes it worth it, rather than just, why not just take out the container just to store stuff out, leave it out in the open maybe a little bit, maybe first, you know, put something really basic up just to literally store that in it, and then store all our stuff in it, and then, you know, that's it. Yeah, we'll really see, I suppose. Obviously I've got a couple of designs for the out base, and I also have one that has all the facilities in it. I'll probably use that most modified one that has all the facilities in it, just because I actually got to a really nice place where I thought it was a really good out base. But I'll probably make some copies without all the facilities in it, and then that'll become the new kind of out base stuff. So you've pretty much seen all this stuff. We have got all of the facilities now built. So I've managed to do all the metal harvesting and stuff, which does remind me, while we're talking and stuff and in game, let's get all of our power on and get some water on the go, because we have got tons more metal that we need to get processing, and water is our biggest problem. Well, I say biggest problem, it's like the biggest like slowdown of everything at the moment, at least. I have got a couple of ideas down the line of what I'm going to do with regards to scaling my water supply and scaling how fast I can produce it. But again, I've got so many things I need to do in order to make that a reality, which I'm going to be doing now on the stream. So a lot of like the mega base build continues, but now rather than it just being the shell, which is what we've been working on, say, for the last couple of weeks, we're now going to be looking at spending another month or two kitting the whole base out to make it the ultimate base for a solo player. So that means having all the resources available to be able to run everything. That includes being able to just switch on 2 power supplies. So I'm going to do what like I did out in the deep desert, and that's build 2 of the largest power generators that each produce 1,000 kilowatts of power, or however many, I don't know if it's kilowatts or megawatts or whatever it is, but 1,000 units of power, and we'll then be able to, with 2 of them, run the whole base. The way I've designed it at the moment is I've got enough reserve power, so I've had to build a couple more of the lowest tier power supply units, but in doing that, that's allowed me to now be able to turn everything else off and then run on a passive energy supply that basically I can just go out with a buggy, going into the deep desert and go farm like, you know, a few nodes or so and come back and literally have more than enough to stock the whole base with power for as long as it's kind of, you know, for the next 20 full max days, which I think is 22 days in total. Obviously it never goes up to 22 days because as soon as you do it, it goes straight down to 21, but, and you know, however many hours and minutes, etc. We'll get these on, because I put 2 bodies in just before I turned it all off, so it's ready to go. They are pretty fresh, as you can tell, because they're not much indented. Although one of them just literally indented, and as I said it, it's listening. Oops, and there's the other one. So they are actually more progressed than I thought. I thought I'd only put them in for a little bit just before I turned them off, but oh no, maybe they're not. They're about halfway through their cycle. I don't actually have any more bodies though, because they were the last 2 bodies. So I think the first thing to do, so that when them 2 do finish, will be to go and get some bodies from the local body shop, which is just around the corner. Oh yeah, I love where my base is. It's like so ideal for everything. There's NPCs to kill from my body supply, which helps with the water. Well, basically is the water supply. And here are the lovely victims, all waiting to be lined up and killed by me. Let's see if I've still got it. Christ. Completely lost all stamina. So one thing I still not fond of in this game is how stamina works. Got to bag the people are killed up here, which is not good because they could just quickly despawn. Tell I hardly ever do this, or very out of practice at least. Yep, there's everyone. There may be one more sometimes. Maybe he came out before. It seemed like a lot of them. Okay, let's start storing these in the buggy, which might not be empty. I just thought actually I might have might not have emptied it. Oh, I did. I did do a big run the other day for more metal and stuff because we need loads of metal for the containers. The containers require 300 plastinum metal in order to make them, which is a lot of metal. Considered how much water as well you need, just shows you like I'm going to need 900,000 units of water. Is that right? Yeah, about actually it'd probably be slightly more than that. But yeah, I'm going to need a hell of a lot of water. So that's why I'm quite keen actually probably to try and resolve my, not water problem, but the amount of water that I can currently have is obviously quite limited. I need to come out with a solution that kind of mitigates that so that it's less of a roadblock, because at the moment it's very much a bottleneck in my whole process. So it's heavily restricting just how fast I can do everything at the moment, and I want to kind of remove that bottleneck, or at least move the bottleneck to something else that's not as slowing me down, because the water at the moment is, and always has been for quite a while on and off, a limiting factor. I pressed that wrong button. Always. You know why? It's because it's like the first button that my finger hovers over. So sometimes I just go, yep, it's that row. And it's not until I press it and I go, oh, I've done it again. I dance and move it around because it's in the order it is, because that's the order it shows on the screen. So what I'm probably best doing is budging the two around so that X becomes one of the Bene Gesserit skills, and then the chicken claw becomes C, and then I'd have to mess around where key positions are, because that I think would be more detrimental to me. Stockist. Oh, and I don't think I killed anyone in here. I feel like I left one here, but maybe I picked it up. Did have about 7 or 8. Got 8, so yeah, that's probably all of them. It looks kind of weird now when I look up, because obviously previously when I used to look up, I used to see our base that used to go up that little part there and go right up to the top. But now the base is like, well, way bigger, but it's also just like spread out in comparison to how it was. But I do love that. It's quite an epic base for a solo player. I don't know why that, like, person's like hypnotized or something. Just they won't pick that up. Don't know if that's bugged. Very weird. I was actually trying to bag those bodies before, and it wasn't actually registering me doing that. It was just literally doing nothing. Could also be that I pressed the wrong button, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't. Should have 11 bodies now. 12 would be nice. It means I will at least have to do it for this stream. Hoping to get about 8 of the advanced death stills, and what that'll allow me to then do is then hopefully be able to make enough power for any time I want to start building anything, because while if certain things do require more water than others, none of it takes up like a huge amount. Like if I could make in one batch 500,000 and it only takes 45 minutes to do that, then that should be sufficient to account for most construction and building stuff. So that's kind of like really the plan with regards to that. In the long term, obviously, because all of these really high tier building facilities and processes and stuff like that, they require so many resources to build them. Like the 2 that I've built already, because I'm building them in Hagga Basin that has the full building costs, it obviously, if I had those, if I'd actually built that out in the deep desert, I would have been able to build 4, but I literally have just enough to build 2. That's how restricted they are, and it take a lot of resources to make just like one of them. So yeah, and my plan is to build like at least 8 of them. So it's gonna it's going to be quite a bit of work to do that. I'm okay doing that, but it's just going to take time. This is why I'm saying now it's probably going to take me months. Well, at least I'd say a month to probably 2 months to kit out this base, because everything I'm going to have to build now, I'm going to have to do with bearing in mind that the resources I'm going to need to build these high tier 6 and high tier 5, or the highest tier in whatever it is I'm building, it's just going to take so much more resources to do. And all the while I still want to do like the end game as well in a deep desert, so we'll mix between like doing some of this stuff and then going away and then doing some of the like other stuff as well. But that's the bodies that'll be ready. So how long do we have? 13 minutes. Okay, come back on about that. I don't think I have much metal at the moment. I did start actually doing some delirium, because in order to make those death stills I need delirium, but I also obviously want to do the plastadium as well, so I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place with regards to which way I go. As you can see here, I've got aluminium on the go, which you need the aluminium to make that stuff, so we may switch this on, we've got enough power for that, and get those processing, because that's probably going to take the best part of an hour and a half. Oh, an hour. That's not so bad. Still takes a while though, even with like the high tier refiner, which is faster and takes less resources, but still takes a while to do. Much longer though, and more resources when you're using the medium or the small. Like, no one should be using probably the small unless you are literally in the startup area. I think I moved from small to the medium pretty much as soon as I'd moved to this area, which I'd done within the first like 2 weeks. And I was a slow mover as well. Like, I should have actually moved over here probably in the first week. I just didn't, because I kind of liked it where I was and I just wanted to stay there a little bit longer. You know what it is, you get all homely and then you don't kind of want to move. So I need like literally all of that to process in order to be able to make another one of these death stills. If I can have 3 of them for now, then I'll move back on to doing a plasnatium. Because that would mean every cycle that I do should give me, well, each one gives you 40 or 45,000 water drops. So with 3 of them going, I can make 120,000 water per 45 minutes, which isn't bad. Obviously it'd be nicer when I get higher and more, but can't be too greedy, I guess. I know obviously I need to increase my water supply as well, or my water storage, which my current water storage is obviously under here. So when I decommissioned my old base, I moved, rather than demolish everything, which arguably maybe I should have done, but I didn't. I moved all of these, so all of these and some extra ones, like I think all of these ones I made extra and a few of these I made extra, but all of those were the original ones, and all of these were the original ones which were stored on the very top floor below the carrier in the void that was there. So I want to change all these to the top tier ones, because these only hold 25,000 opposed to 100,000 each. So I really want to be able to have water capacity held for about 1 million. And obviously I don't want 1 million of these things, because that's going to take up all this downstairs area, and I won't even probably be able to do it, because effectively you build bigger because you do have a limit on how many facilities and things you can put in your base. So I will need to like change these over. And again, these also use another resource, which painfully also uses the resource that I need for the death stills. So yeah, like as you can see here, 150,000 delirium ingots for these, which are the largest of the water containers. The advantage though with these is these do hold 100,000 each. I'll only need 10 of them, and then that'll give us the million hold capacity for the actual water. When it comes though to the death stills though, as you can see here, they're 240,000 delirium ingots. So yeah, I need to get loads more delirium ingots, and obviously the problem with delirium is you need to go to the radiated zone because you're going to need the Justnatium, which you can only get from that area. So that's kind of like one of the things we'll have to do today, go and get some of that. Which I wouldn't say is the best fun, but these are the things we will have to do in order to get the dream base that I'm after. And obviously I want to build these as well. Like I've got tons of things I want to build, but a lot of this now is filling out this base and giving it the full utility that, regardless to whether I'm a solo player or whether you're in a big guild, you could make this work for you. The only difference I would say that if you're a big guild is you may double up on some of the refining facilities, so that you might have 2 spice refiners and you might have 2 of the large ore refiners, just so that you can process things twice the speed. Obviously that's going to require more resources, but you have more people, so you know it's easier. Effectively it's me gathering all the resources, building everything, which has advantages when it comes to building, because then it's just my concept and I don't have to argue or persuade others as to what I'm doing. It's just like me testing stuff, seeing where the concepts work, and then if they do, I stick with it. If they don't, then I adapt. And that's what this whole journey so far of building this base has been, exactly that, to build, see what works, see what doesn't, and then keep adapting it. Welcome to this part of the base though. I have got some Atreides stuff in just on the inside, because I do like some of the Atreides interior stuff, and obviously the bookcase, which is part of the palace gear of the Atreides stuff, is a nice kind of thing to, I think, have in any base, and just to break things up and make it kind of uniform and a bit more. I've also got that new light that you got as part of the free pack that was released as part of over the festive period as the thank you. Also part of that festive pack as well is this lovely planning table, which, as you can see, has kind of figurines and stuff on it, like these. Like you got an ornithopter there, assault ornithopter, the carrier there, the harvester. There's a worm, the bike. That's just a kind of representation of Harkonnen, and there's the same one over here for the Atreides. There is also another one as well for one of the other races, which I can't remember the top of their head. You've got a spice blowout, which doesn't really look like a spice blowout to me, but it's supposed to be a spice blowout. And all of these you place on the table, so you literally build the table as one thing, which you just come into like the furniture and then go to decorations. What is it? Or no, furniture maybe. Yeah, there it is on the table, and you can just place that down. And as you can see, there's like no legs; it just hovers. I suppose you could change the height of the table if you wanted to, or put it on the floor if you really wanted it not to hover. But yeah, you just place that down, and then once you place that down, you go back into this, and then rather than go to anything else, you go to the ornaments, and all of the ones related towards this are towards the bottom. So you've got everything from the Harkonnen miniature, up the Atreides one, Then there's this one, which is the just a flag miniature. Okay, that was what the other one was. I thought it was for what is it? The chrome. That's what I was thinking. The miniature worm. The transport ornithopter, it's called there, but really it's called the carrier. So I don't know why they've called it that. The sand bike, and the ornithopter miniature. Yeah, and then the harvester and stuff. I did have a go at like putting some of these other things on there, but they do look quite different, so I ended up removing them. Because I thought, oh, you could put one of these on it, but then I put it down and it just didn't look right. It looked a bit weird. But yeah, you could potentially put some other little things on there as well if you wanted to. That might look alright on it. I suppose it's all subjective. But yeah, that's the plan table you got free. There is also some other stuff you get as well, which I haven't placed down yet, and I'm not sure whether I'm going to use them. But you also have some holograms, which are under the misc. So this tree's new. Not a big fan of it, but I have seen other players with it. I'll place one down just so you can see what it looks like. Yeah, so it's alright. Looks a bit cheap and nasty if I'm honest, but you know, that's just my opinion. There is also another one as well, which is new. This one, which is like a mini version. Again, I don't think it looks very good, and I don't know how to use it because it's like too big to put on something. It would look a bit funny on like on a table, and on the floor it also doesn't look right. So at least this one has more usability, where this one I'm just like, it's just the wrong size. It's like it's too big and too small for most things I can think of how I'd ever want to try and use it. So yeah, this one's probably never going to be used. This one has some potential somewhere, I guess, but doesn't suit anything I've done so far. So I won't be personally using them. I think that's everything that I noticed that you got from the pack. See, you know, it's quite a few nice little things. Oh yeah, the light. I didn't show you the light. So the lights, somewhere on this. I think it's a wall light, so. Oh, it'd be wall deco, wouldn't it? No, it's not wall deco. Well, it is a wall light. It is classed as a light though, so it will come out of your light allocation. Well, I could just cheat and go to that and then it'll show me where it was. It's under misc. Alright. Okay, we could have been there a while. They completely the wrong menu. Yeah, that's the light anyway. Or the sign. But someone said it was a light. Now I'm not sure if it does come out the light allocation or not. But yeah, it does. If it doesn't come out the light, because it's with the holograms, it'll come out on the holograms, and there is limitations on holograms. Now, there never used to be a limitation on holograms. They have now introduced a limitation on holograms, so you can only have so many holograms, and even a base my size, because your allocation does grow as your base size or land grows. Even at a base at this size, I think the limitation is 20, so you don't get a huge amount of holograms. Previously, it was almost, and I'm pretty sure it was unlimited before. It definitely isn't anymore. So yeah, I had noticed that. Because it comes up when you start building too many, that it came up, and then that's when I noticed it, and I was like, oh right, they put limitation on that. There never used to be limitation on that. In here as well, what I was thinking of doing was building a big auditorium type thing where I had loads of seats and stuff like that. I did start trying to place it down and build levels, but it didn't look very good. So I kind of very quickly backed out of that idea. So I need to kind of work out how to use this area. One of the uses of this area that I came up with, obviously, was this, which was perfect for trying to use stuff down here. On the outside, though, on here, we do have some of like the Dune Master stuff, which I was initially thinking of using some of. Is it ornaments? Or is it this? Or is it deco? Could be deco. Yeah, it's deco. I was thinking of placing some of this here, but this is all to do with the bikes and stuff. And I'm not actually going to be bringing bikes in this area, so it wouldn't really make sense to have that. Hopefully they may bring stuff out that relates to, you know, maintenance of ornicopters and stuff, because if they do that, that would be perfect, and I can start kitting and making this place look more shabby. But for now, this stuff is probably going to go down in one of the 2 areas downstairs. As you may have noticed earlier, I do actually have the rat wheel, as I call it, kind of hologram downstairs. So I'm thinking of like putting those in with that area, and that's to kind of indicate like that's where you should park your bikes and stuff. Yeah, this has 4 levels, I think. Trying to think. I think it has 4 levels. And the very top level is the one reserved for the owner, thus me, if I was to guild out and stuff. So yeah, this is my little private area upstairs, my little bedroom and stuff, my own. My safe, although as we know, the current game mechanics, which aren't probably going to change because it was by intention how they did it, people, even if I change the permission rights, could still access it via any of the kind of other things they can access in the base. So having like that thing is more for show than it is utility wise, because I think the only way now that you can get out around the current mechanics in the game with regards to being able to store things securely in a base will now be with those cargo containers, which will be owner based. So like your personal vehicle, it allows you to store stuff in there that firstly stays off the radar of other or general use when you're building stuff in the base, but also allows you to kind of secure that in a private area which no one else can touch unless you give them access to it, which is kind of like really how they should have had the whole mechanics with regards to these kind of storage boxes anyway. Like the fact that you have a storage permission on the main outside box that you can change, but then someone can access it through, say, like using any of these refineries, makes 0 sense. It should be security. If it's got security permission to be seeing what's in a box, it should just generally be you can't use anything out of that box unless you have the security permission. It's crazy how they currently have it, but that's how they want it, so you know that's how it is. Yeah, so I'm thinking of putting like some ornaments and stuff around here. We'll see whether or not that's definitely what I do. Like I'm not sure it's definitely going to be like the bike storage area, but it's what I'm thinking for now. And that's what I'll go with for now, and we'll play it by ear with regards to that. In here though, I need to start building out a big kind of warehouse storage place with loads of the big containers. Of those which are medium storage containers, because I'm assuming they're going to be building some big ones. Either that or the cargo containers took over that. But obviously our cargo containers will go here, depending on how big they actually are. I'm hoping that they might not be quite as big as I'm hoping, or think they might be, but I'm hoping for now they might be like about 3 blocks long, not 5 or 6, because I think they are. I watched a YouTube video of one of these containers against the character, and it looked absolutely huge. And I was like, oh, I think they are actually quite a lot bigger than I think they are. I think it is slightly bigger than this, even on diameter. We're gonna have to build one for me to definitely know, but I'm pretty sure it's actually slightly bigger than that, and then it's like really long back. So yeah, I might only be able to fit 2 through here, and then use the carrier to pull it up through the pentashield. Just depends really how big these things are, because there is only 1 block allowance before the above sky kind of landing pad would get in the way from being able to pick stuff out of this area. And as I said before, it's actually quite tricky. Like I can show you just how tricky it is to pick stuff out. You have to do it blind. which I hadn't thought about. I hadn't even contemplated that it wouldn't show you it properly, but yeah, I kind of realised that after trying it the first time, oh, you don't quite see, because normally what happens is when you go to look, I'll show you what it should look like, and then you'll see what it does look like when I go to pick up for the Panther Shield. But when I should go to pick up normally, you'll see below what you're about to pick up. So I just assumed that I'd be able to see something, but I hadn't really thought about the angle that you see at the point of when you go to pick up. And obviously when I'm picking up from here, well, I'm obviously not, it's going to show me that same angle, but I didn't really think. I just thought, oh, it'll show you it from above, but it doesn't. So you kind of have to guess what you're picking up and how you're picking it up, which is balmy, but hopefully that's picked up. Yeah, that's picked it up. Now, if I have more than one container there, that's going to get a bit tricky, because then I'm not going to know which container I picked up unless I keep I keep them quite far apart, so that I know if I'm more to the right, I should definitely be picking up the right container or the left container. But yeah, the whole idea of this was so that effectively I've got an easy way of storing the containers in the main base, which will be where all the storage and stuff is. And obviously it's all protected in there, and it's easy to access and get off as well, because it's literally right below where the actual main ornithopter pad is for all the storage of the ornithopters at the moment. Like I said, I am still thinking of building a higher version of the pad, but it's not going to be what I initially planned, which was to span the whole of this ravine with an epic sky airport above this area between this and this, because unfortunately those rocks are just too far apart for me to be able to span from one side to the other. This was as high as you can possibly go before you would have to start making things look unnatural. The thing is with this is there are actually some things that if you looked carefully enough, you would actually realise that while it does span, I've had to like put some supports where I was hoping not to. So all of this part, I've had to put up major support blocks, foundation blocks effectively, in order for this to work, because when I didn't have the foundation blocks, it wouldn't quite reach over, because the foundation spread. From a foundation block outwards, you can only have a maximum of like 9 blocks, I think it is. And because I'm doing that from that side and then from that side to meet in the middle, because this, if you hadn't watched the whole video yet, you'll realise that while this all looks like it's one building, they are actually separated, and while these look connected, they are actually unsupported connections at certain parts. So if I was to break one side, you would see like how it all kind of snakes almost, because this block might be here and then this block finishes there, and it's not just all one building. If I take one out, it won't be supported on the other side, and it would literally just fall apart on one part of it, and certain blocks will actually support. Also below here, which I can show you as well, which shows you the inner workings of this building, because yeah, when you want to build something like this, which has a lot of complexity to it, you have to support it in ways that, well, are creative, I would say. So I've got loads of these support pillars in order to provide support, both sometimes above but sometimes below. So by doing this, I'm spreading support variances either from the upper level to the lower level, or from the lower level to the above level, depending on what needed to support. Effectively, if you take out all of these blocks, you would find certain parts of this would start falling apart because they're reliant on these support beams. And obviously, if you look below all of this, you'll know that none of this actually has a support beam that goes all the way down, apart from these. So I end up having to put some support beams in, even though I didn't really want to. And that's because there was like I ran into some problems when taking it from the concept into the reality of what was actually going to be possible. And I found that in order to have it like this, I needed certain supports in order to be able to support the structure, along with all those interconnections in between everything, in order to get this kind of perfect thing. Like what gave me confidence that maybe gave me false confidence was the fact that when I put the sky bridge in, this bridge here, I didn't run into that many issues trying to span it from one side to the other. So I was quietly confident that I could do that pretty much all the way up as high as I wanted. It was only when I started really building the next level that I started to run into a number of issues that I found solutions to, but I realized very fast that I was building at the highest level that was rarely viable. And if I built any higher, yes, I could continue those side build parts, which at the moment are quite hidden, which why it doesn't really ruin the effect. But as soon as I build any higher than that, they'll be more exposed, and it'll be obvious that it's not just like suspended off the walls. It'll be very obvious because you'll have like obviously player made blocks literally holding the thing up. So I think that's kind of the reason why I'm happy where I've built up to. It's still huge, but yeah, it's kind of a little bit different than what I initially planned, and that's really because of limitations that I found as I was building everything with what was possible due to needing the support to allow it to span across this whole gap. So I think I have a radiation suit. Yeah, I do. So I actually had planned to do a radiation run probably at the start of this stream, and so far we haven't gone and done that, but we will go and do that in 1 second. I've just remembered, actually, let's go and get that next water drop on, and then we'll go and get some materials that we require to make more delirium, because at the moment, well, actually we need to also go and get aluminium as well, but the first things first is I need more stuff for making delirium itself. It would help if I get a body. Get a body, chuck it in. And let's just backstack a bit more of the delirium metal that would have been changed from aluminium so far, and then we'll go and get the resources for making more delirium. Because at the moment I've only got 703 jasmatium crystals, which it takes three units, so that's effectively going to give us about 200 units, which, considering I need 240 for just like one death still, shows that. And I want like at least 8 of these death stills, plus I want obviously all the water containers, which take 100 each as well. Yeah, I've got a lot of mining to do. Dump the stuff that I've got on me in here. This is my dump container. It's one thing I would like Dune to do. It's like things like you have in Rust, like auto sort containers. That would be nice. Where you could just like, where you got like these circuits. That's what I was half expecting when I seen circuits, that we would have these like things that would help us automate storage and stuff, but yeah, not yet. Not yet, at least. Maybe not impossible, but not yet. I still haven't fully kitted out all that stuff yet. Oh, did I? Oh, that's it. I'm not sure where I have. Oh, actually, it looks like I already got on me. Yeah, I already got on me. A cutting array, because I'll need the cutting array. I'm definitely not going to be taking a buggy. Although I could take a buggy. Nah. Do I really want to run between other things in a buggy? Probably not. And it would be awkward trying to get out there as well without dying before the radiation. I was tempted to build a Mark 6 radiation suit, but when I looked at all the resources it requires, I was like, I'll hold off. I think the first thing I'll buy is or build, should I say, is a cutting array. But it does take up quite a bit of spice melange, and at the moment I don't really heavily rely on like either the radiation suit or the cutting array, because I have the buggy and I do majority of the stuff apart from like what I'm doing now, where I'm going off to do like radiation to get the Jasatium. I don't generally tend to use the cutting array that much, because I use the buggy's cutting array, which is a lot more effective and obviously carries tons more. It's only when it comes to this stuff, just because of the radiation and the awkwardness of it, why I don't use the buggy. But it also means that it would be quite, not necessarily a waste of spice melange, but at this stage I just don't need it. Like if I ultimately want to see myself up for this, then I should do it, but just at the moment don't see the point. I don't actually believe I'm actually gliding the assault ornithopter, because normally this thing is unglidable properly. Like, not when I say unglidable properly, what I mean by that is like glide indefinitely without having to switch the wings on to regain height or use the booster, which I'll always generally go towards the booster because it's more efficient. I hadn't realised then. For some reason I just thought I was in like the scout one. I just realised, oh no, you're actually in the assault one. Why am I trying to glide like I can glide for indefinite? So can't see any rocks in that. What you should see is like a rock in the middle of those, like on that one over that one there where you can see the white dot in the middle, my pointer. You can see there's a rock in the middle. So what we're looking for is all the effective radiation little ponds with those in it, and that's the actual Jasatium that we're mining. So we have to be careful. If you notice, just in the bottom middle, there's like a little radiation symbol, which is going to be having a little red thing that'll be growing, which is our warning level of radiation. Effectively, we cannot allow that to get all the way round. So it goes like clockwise, and it fills up. And some of these actual ponds are more radiated than others. So at the moment we're in one of the areas where the radiation level is 2, but you can go into an area where there's a big lake with several of these in, but the radiation level is level 3, so you'll find that your radiated level will go up faster. And obviously we can't allow ourselves to get towards well, for that to fill up, because if it fills up, we're dead. And if we're dead, we obviously we will drop. Well, our ornithopter would be stuck out here, and I actually did that when I was still very new at doing all of this, and effectively I didn't have another ornithopter to back up, and I had to basically spend about 3 hours building up all the resources to build another ornithopter to come out and rescue my main ornithopter, because I didn't have a backup. So I actually have loads of backups now and numerous ornithopters, so it's not an issue, but obviously I don't want to die because it does damage all the stuff I'm carrying, and generally there's no need to. All we need to do is we just keep an eye out on the triangle, or the little diamond with the red arrow in, and effectively just be a bit careful, make sure it doesn't fill up. Now, as you can tell, I'm going into I was about to go into a level 3 radiate zone, but I just noticed there were some NPCs in that, and I really can't be bothered fighting the NPCs because they do hurt quite a bit actually in this area. 2 minutes away. Okay, we can quickly land, and we can then also get out of the radiate zone, and that'll allow us to. The reason why I normally land in here is so I can actually land and stay on my ornithopter, because while I'm up here I take less radiation, but I can get really close up to these, which then allows you to take it out easier. Else I've seen people stand in the radiate zone, and when you stand in the radiate zone, you effectively you're taking a bigger hit of radiation. So the thing is, I probably parked that one a bit too close. Never mind. You can see this has a limit, so when I've reached the limit, it won't actually target properly. So I think we've got enough time to stay here a little bit longer, so I'll just move this a little bit in the middle of these two. That's sandstorm. Can't see it. We should be alright. We're now about towards the area that I start to think about leaving. Should be close enough. Yeah, let's get out of here because that sandstorm is quite close now. My ornithopter will take some damage from this, but as long as I don't turn the wings on, it won't take too much damage. If that makes sense. I'm hoping I can get out before it hits, which I did. One advantage of being in that is it is actually quite close to the border, so you can just come out, wait a little bit, and we'll go back in and avoid the storm. But we also needed to come out anyway, because when we come out of that area, we reset our radiation levels, so it'll go back to 0, and then we've got the same clock again while we're in there. Okay, by the time it loads, we should be clear. Sweeping across sector. Okay, we'll give it a little bit longer. Should be past by now. Oh, let's go in. Pretty sure it would have been past the area we went, or at least came out of. I'd be wrong. Oh, just gone past. I might come in a little bit early, but you after boy. You missed, mate. You missed. Far too slow. I wasn't even there that long. Tell you what, the worms around in Hagga Basin are so sensitive. Touch the sand and they could come after you. I'm not doing this very effectively today. I should be emptying more often. I'm losing to Snatium by not emptying before I do a couple of nodes, because it only takes a couple of nodes with this Corona raid before your inventory's full. One down there. See how much slower the radiation level is around here, because these little ones are, give off quite a lot less radiation in comparison to the other large lakes, which are actually I think they're quite awkward, and players always used to go on about, yeah, go to the large ones because they're better. But I kind of always disagreed. I always thought these ones were better because you could stay in the area longer, where you'd have to keep resetting the radiation as much. The only advantage is you can obviously just land once and then go around, going everywhere, where this is a bit more kind of everything's spread out, so you have to go to each part of it. But I'm okay with that. Especially like this one. There's two of these ones with this exact layout. I actually really like this layout because there's quite a lot of the nodes here. And like this one, there's even two right next to each other. But the radiation level is so low in here, unless you want to stand in water, you don't even have to risk anything really at raising the radiation level. And I've just did it again. Didn't empty. I should have emptied. That's all of them. Let's go to this one. If there's, as long as there's no like NPCs here. Otherwise, I can see them below me. They didn't see me, but I seen them. Some of them though will always be like this, that won't actually show any in. Don't know why they have some that don't spawn any, but it is how it is. So just look for the one that has like a rock on it, and generally all the ones in that area will have rocks on. But if you go to one where it has no rocks on any of them, either someone has just recently been there, or it is just that they don't ever spawn at that particular pond or those ponds. As you can see, there's not generally that many NPCs around, but you will find some NPCs on some of these areas and none in others. It's quite random as to when and where they are. But they will normally make themselves very well known. And I generally avoid them because even with the Mark 6 or even like what I've got, Mark 5 radiation suit, the armor that you get for this isn't great in comparison to how hard they hit. They are pretty hard NPCs, so they hit quite heavily when they do hit you. Obviously you can put shield up, but if you're using this, your shield will go off because you won't have enough power to run the cutting array and have your shield up. So it's not as if you can just cut away and ignore them because your shield will protect you, your shield will go down. I remembered for once. That's it now, I can forget every single time from this point. I've done it once, doesn't really matter. So we're getting close to my kind of considered getting out cause. Got one here. This feels like there's one where an NPC is going to be probably on that top corner one over there. Oh, I've seen like a titanium node then, but I just realised it wasn't. This is scrap, I think. Oh, there's a node down there. I was thinking there's not that many nodes on this rock, considering it's quite a big rock as well. Oh, there's an NPC there somewhere around. Shion shooting at me. Oh, they're not shooting at me right now, so I'll go ahead. Cut. I said I felt there was going to be an NPC on this one. You just have that feeling sometimes. This felt like one of those rocks where there's going to be an NPC skirting around somewhere. Let me see where it is, but... Okay, we're halfway, so we'll go and reset the spawn and then come back in a bit. His wings look very orange. They're not too bad though. There's life in them yet. You can tell when you're outside the area because that weird green glow thing disappears. And obviously you'll start to see your radiation levels going down. Which is our reset. So once that gets to none and it disappears, we'll head back in. Ship stuff's done. You can obviously see when you're entering these zones as well because you get that green glow. And it's not just at ground level either, like you can go as high as you want and that will still exist. At least in this area. There's other areas where you can't fly over it, but in this particular area in Hagga Basin, this area is fully rated from ceiling down to the floor. I should say space. As high as you can go. Thought that was a crystal in the water, but it's not. Well, I've done the whole area actually, other than going on to into one of the NPC protected ones. There'll be an NPC on that one because there's a down ship, and I'm pretty sure this is the one that has. Yeah, you can see him just on the edge over there. We can go do that, but we'll have to go and kill that geezer first. All that in here. It's just trying to store. Be empty. Back the shield on. Get my sword out. Go get this guy. Sneak. See if we can sneak. I can't sneak for toffee. Doesn't drop anything interesting. But if I don't kill him, it'd be very annoying, and he, even like wearing one of these suits, he'll near kill you if he hits you enough without your shield on, which your shield will go down as soon as you start using the cutting array, because the cutting array just uses up so much power from your power bank. Oh god, just realised. Wrong way. Not that way. The reason I was thinking that was towards where my Ornicott was. Oh well. Quick recovery. One way looks the same as any other way sometimes in this place. Only half filled, but this is an assault helicopter, and it does carry now 2,000 units, so it is actually pretty hard to fill this in this area just doing one run. I'm going to have to be very risky here doing this because I'm half through my radiation zone and I've literally come to a high radiated area. You can actually see the radiation level literally going around as you're here, unlike the other one, which you takes a while for it to notice it. Here you can easily notice it just ticking around. Go in a minute. I think we need to go now because our radiation level is just going up too fast, and we still need to get out to the edge before, obviously, we get radiated to death. Should be out of radiation over there because the player built base, so. Drift around. I'll sort the music out in a second. Any rocks on this one? Scouted off a few already as we landed. The only thing when you play more than one game, and some of the things in each game are just a little bit different than the other, it's sometimes a little bit tricky with muscle memory to switch between one game to the next. Like, most of the buttons are the same or identical purposely, but there are still subtlety differences between the two, just because, well, there's certain the actions and things that you do in one game that just isn't quite the same in the other games, so it doesn't really make sense to have them the same. I just feel like I've already done this one. I'm pretty sure like these do have quite a fast respawn, but not quite as fast as like cycling through it and then coming back and being able to just constantly cycle through. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they don't respawn that fast. I think it's more like long enough that if you went around once and then came back in about 15 minutes, it would be ready for you to start that same cycle again. But not long enough unless you really went around mega slow, where you could just recycle back through it straight away. Normally, for a long time, I managed to be able to. I don't know if there's actually a trick to this, but there is a way of like getting it so that you always come up on your roof straight away rather than below. But I just don't know how reliably and how you trigger it to just do it that way rather than the other way. Can't see far because it's not registering the hit. Apart from when I get really high. That's very useful. I'm not parked in a very optimal position. My idea is backfiring. It used to be a good way of doing it. Just because you can get so much closer without risking having to step foot into the stuff. No, that's reach that one, it's too far away. Oh, step right in it. That's what you shouldn't do. You stepped in it, because that's yeah, fully radiated that. God, get up. Not too far away. Ah, already halfway. It's the only thing with those ones. The radiation level is just so high. You can take iodizing pills, which I have 2 of them because I had to make them for like a challenge or mission, but I've never actually used them because they seem to have such a low barrier effect that it can't, for the amount of resources it takes to make them, I just can't see the effort of going to try and make them, so I haven't bothered, but I should try just to see how much difference it does make. Some players do use them, so I suppose if you're playing at the high levels and you had to stay here and you couldn't just reset, then it, you know, it's more of a useful thing. But personally, that looks all farmed. Empty. I think we have literally got everything now. Other than maybe like 1 or 2 on the lakes, but they're highly radiated anyway. Pain in the ass to do. I think we cut it there. I think we've pretty much done most of what's available, apart from the odd 1 or 2 that was in the, on those big lakes. But like I said, they're a lot more effort than they're kind of worth, in my opinion. You have to reset your radiation a lot more trying to do them. Chapter 2 area down there, part of the Chrome stuff. Chapter 3 comes out soon though, it's not too far away. It should be sometime this month, I believe, in January. Not as big of a release for me, at least, than the last patch was. Although it's obviously a DLC, so arguably you could say it's more, because the other one wasn't a full DLC, I don't believe, where this one is. And obviously people who don't have the like paid like year subscription. There's a season like pack subscription you could get if you got the highest tier or you bought it separately. I got it because I've got the highest tier, so I'm aware I'm going to get it and not have to pay any extra. However, obviously if you just got the standard game, then you'll have to pay for those things extra, and obviously that starts then to become more expensive. So it was more beneficial to get the highest tier, but obviously it would have been no point if the game was crap. I kind of like seen the game, I looked at the concept and I thought it would be a game I'd like, so I was willing to dive in full all the way sort of thing. I'm kind of glad they didn't do that though with Battlefield, although I was tempted to do it with Battlefield as well, but I was just like, I'm not too sure how much I'm going to play this game, and whether this will become a streamed game that I will stream for a long period of time, or whether it will be just a short term thing. Ended up being more of a shorter term thing. Still a bit longer than I've half expected, because I thought I might only do it for like the hype and a little bit past it, but I ended up doing it for a little bit longer. Like we've only literally just stopped it the last couple of weeks, so. Should be in-ish. Like, you're not going to take any damage with that. Even if your wing was hanging out a little bit more than that, you'd be alright. You can always check anyway. If you look at the stats on your ornithopter, it'll always tell you whether or not it's safe from degradation or whether it's not. For now, just need to remember if I take I always forget, this is always, sometimes I leave stuff stored in a vehicle and then sometimes don't check when I go out and just to see what's empty, so that I can come with or go out with like an empty haul, so that I can get as much as I can, and then otherwise sometimes when I'm out there, oh, I didn't empty it before. So I do try as much as possible to make sure I empty my vehicles after a run, just so that when I go out, when I forget to check, that they are empty and I haven't left stuff in it. So half the time you'll see me like questioning myself whether or not I did empty it last time or not. Okay, so we now need delirium ingots because we've got no more aluminium ore, so we'll need to go get some more aluminium ore. And I've got 87 of them now. They're cooking. This, I think, outputs to storage free, is it? Yeah, storage free. So storage free box is this one over here, which isn't a very big box, but it's big enough at the moment, I think, to hold most of the stuff, he says, although that looks quite full. Let's put that in the buggy for now, and we'll move it to another box. Maybe this one over here. The reason why I haven't just tried to carry these is because that amount can't be carried. My backpack is not that big, so kind of need to use the vehicles in your facility to help you move things around boxes if you need to. It'll be a lot easier than trying to carry it. I do need to organise these as well. As you can tell at the moment, I'm just dumping stuff in any box. That's mainly because I haven't sorted out my storage situation in this new like mega base. So it's just like whatever box I come across first that has the capacity, I'll dump it in at the moment. Some things I do try to keep in certain boxes, but most of it's kind of just especially with the ore and stuff at the moment, it's just like wherever the space, just chuck it in at the moment. We can sort things out once we get the storage situation sorted out, which it's a while away yet. Try and empty. That's not. Need to go get some aluminium, so I'll need to empty that the assault ornithopter because I want to go out for empty ornithopter so that we can get a full haul of it. So that's all empty. I'll go and get changed out of this radiation suit because we don't need to be in a radiation suit. Well, technically it would probably be better to do like the metal harvesting in the suit, just because it actually has good heat protection as well, which means you can stay out in the sun for longer without taking heat damage. But I won't. We're going to put our normal attire on. No. This is like the some things I do store in particular places. That's just so that I know where it is when I want to go use it. So when I've like swapping between like certain things that I'm going to be taking out or swapping between, I try and use that box at the moment because I know that's my go-to box for like swapping with what I need to use or take, etc. Should be enough, hopefully. I say that and I'm probably going to go out there now and curse myself because we're going to run out of durability on that power plank and I'm going to have to come back early. But we'll run for it. I can always guarantee it's going to run out. I just can't be bothered going to find where the box is or going to repair it. I do have a box full of them. Fully like brand new, or at least full durability. They're not brand new, but back when you could fix them for free. So these have tons of aluminium nodes on, so this is my come-to place or go-to place for getting my aluminium. Nice and close, and you don't have to worry about any NPCs or anything up here. Obviously none of this area is PvP, so yeah, it's Hagga Basin, what can I say? It's people's place on earth. Apart from the odd NPC. You never run into a player, or very rarely do I run into a player out here. Even when the game was like brand new, super popular, and there was a sizable population on these instance servers, because these are like sub-servers of the main server. Like the main server, which has a number of subset servers that have Hagga Basin in. They are kind of like an underling of the main server. Now, here there are more than one instance on this server, and I'm in like one server in another server, effectively. So when you're in Hagga Basin, you're in kind of like a subset server, and there's a number of instances of the subset server, which when you go to Deep Desert, everyone who is on the main server won't be on their subset server. They'll be on that shared big server. Now, again, back when it was busy, there used to be a number of servers, like server clusters that supported the Deep Desert. Now there is just one, and what it does is auto scales based on how many people are actually in the Deep Desert. So the whole of the Deep Desert now is just supported by one server, and then if there's more people that join the server, it then starts to split up allocation based on how many people are there and what they're doing. basically splitting up resources so that it can power it. And players won't notice it, or you shouldn't notice it, but you might now and again notice as it spools through, and you'll notice a slight glitch. Like, the only way I can describe it is a kind of like a glitch, but it's not a glitch. You'll kind of see a period of like what appears like lag, but that's actually it spooling up a server and splitting resources and deciding whether you're going to stay on the original server or whether it's going to push your particular usage towards another one to handle all of your kind of play. I find all this very interesting because I'm a tech geek, and I work in the industry as well. Like, not gaming industry, but I do work in the tech industry. The whole reason why I went into the tech industry is because of my love of tech and computers and everything else to do with all of it. It's just easier to land down here, mainly to get back in the ship, because sometimes it's quite awkward to actually get back up on that top area from down here, even with the chicken claw. Careful doing that. Don't like scoot off the edge because you overshoot it. I have done that before. And I've found it impossible to get back up. Then you have to go get a spare helicopter. Oh, this is going to go full. Yeah, should have emptied before. I've just come over the coat, like having to come back round to empty. There is one more on this level around the other side. Always aluminium, like all the other ones cycle, but up here, the only ones that cycle on this rock are the ones on the very top level, but there will always be aluminium there. It's just about how many aluminium nodes to how many granite nodes. But on this down level, these are always aluminium nodes, and this is why it's so reliable to come to these big kind of, I don't know what you call them, like big rocky nodes, because they will always have aluminium on. So if you're after aluminium, come to these because they are like guaranteed aluminium hotspots. Apart from some of them, like some of them will also have those white crystals, which you need that in order to make something. I can't remember what it is, but they do. It's a low tier resource. But effectively, is it steel? I think it might be steel. Yeah, you effectively use that to make steel. So you'll need metal. Is it a metal ore? Actually, is it steel? I can't actually remember what you use that for. God, it's been that long since I've used that stuff. It's almost like when you once you've moved on to gold, you never go back to silver. And then when you move on to titanium, you never move back onto stainless steel or aluminium. It's always titanium. Apart from Apple, they actually have backtracked, haven't they? They've with their watches, and actually some of their watches have now actually gone back to titanium, but they, for a short period of time, they actually only had aluminium watches, which I was kind of like relieved I'd got the watch I'd got at the time, because I got the last titanium watch that they had for a number of years before they brought them back last year. Another level below. No, that one just doesn't have one. Go to that rock. What I also like about this area is it literally is a glide back to my base from here as well. Like, everyone does generally go to the high tier areas to build their bases and stuff, like especially the guilds and stuff. But I'm like, no, I like where I am. And there's always a reason why I built where I was, because I wanted a quick access to a taxi if I ever needed it, in case I needed it for an emergency. And you know, that has actually happened, where I've actually need to use a taxi as an emergency in order to be able to get back to my base quickly, and then be able to recover from something that occurred. So it just showed that my thought did actually pay off once. Okay, maybe only been once, but it doesn't really matter. The whole point was that I had the ability to do it. Kind of messed that up a little bit. I kind of nudged the rock as I was coming up, and it gave me the nudge away from the rock. I'm not the best at it, I'm not gonna lie. There is a player that I admire very much who, for a short period of time, did come to play in this game, and he was naturally a very good player. I think my power bank's just died, hasn't it? Yes, it has. Okay. Oh well, it's gonna have lasted. That also does mean I don't actually have my suspender belt as well, though, which makes getting down a little bit more trickier. I can't just like drop down. I need to climb down a little bit. Oh, I missed. I was trying to grab the edge just as I got near the edge. You can hang off one arm and it'll kill the floor, so it means you don't take 4 damage. We're mostly alright. We've got like, we should be quite well stocked, to be fair. Halfway. I keep forgetting the storage is like twice as big as I'm used to. The last time I did this properly, my storage was only half this in the assault 1 o'clock there, so I keep thinking, oh yeah, well by the time I kind of get certain points, you know, I'll be full storage anyway. But I keep forgetting that the assault 1 o'clock now is 2,000 units. So what I'm used to, where I'd normally be full, I'm not filling up. Which is a good thing and a bad thing. It'd be a good thing if I actually remembered that half the time and then don't account for coming back earlier than I technically should be. Oh yeah, I don't want to jump down there, do I? We'll go this way. My repair facility is downstairs on this side, so up where all the other facilities are. You need aluminium? Christ sakes. I've turned all my aluminium to delirium. Alright, well, we got tons of aluminium, so it's not too much of an issue. Which means that we'll have to wait a little bit. Need to put the aluminium into one of these storage boxes so that it registers in the base usage rather than in this salt copter at the moment, which is kind of like a cocoon. Yeah, we'll do all of that. Why not? That used up all of the aluminium, or is that run out of water? It has used up all the aluminium. Oh wow. I'm gonna need to go do another run for aluminium. How's my water doing? Is the water still going? Or is that run? Is that finished? It's finished, hasn't it? Some more water on the go. This is why I want more of these, like, so I'm not having to like keep refilling them as much. And then if I've got more storage, then it means that I've got a bigger pool to pull from. It just makes things like so much easier rather than having to rely on it like this, where I'm literally using it up and then having to wait, use it up, wait, use it up, then kind of obviously go off and get more resources and stuff like that. Like, there's always going to be wait times, don't get me wrong, and you're always going to have some sort of bottleneck somewhere, but it's nice to like limit where those bottlenecks are, and if you have a bottleneck that you can kind of either remove or push to another area which is less severe. And I class severeness on like, what's my wait time? What am I having to twiddle my thumbs to like wait to happen? Stadium mass. I suppose we could put some of that on as well, because that would help us when we're making the titanium. Do we have enough power to switch this on? Yeah, just. 1,000 more there on the go. How many is that going to reduce? 160. I need, actually I don't know how many I actually currently have, but I can go and check that here. If you go and make some plastatium ingots which use them, we've got 85 at the moment. So with 160-ish that are going to be made, that's still short of what we need in order to make one of the containers, that, or the first container, because I don't even have one yet, but I do want to get one. But I have no other resources other than the water. The water is the biggest killer for me, because everything I need to do requires a huge amount of water. The worst being the plastinatum ingots. And that's kind of like why I'm more trying to concentrate, I think, on the death stills. Because if I can get like, ideally I would like to do 2 more death stills. I want to double my water production, because if I can double water production, it won't feel so bad when I'm making the plastinatum ingots, effectively doubling up the speed of which I can make them as well. And that's a good thing. Obviously, at some stage, if I get 8 or 10, then I'm doubling it, you know, more and more each time. But you will get to a point where you just can't make it anymore, because you'll obviously reach limits as well with how many facilities and resources you can make in the base. But it's just about making it as effective as you can based on your usage and what you're trying after achieving and stuff. I effectively just want a base where I can do everything. I can go out to deep desert, I can get all the resources I want to get, and from there then just be able to do things when I come back here and have all the resources at my will, where I can just like put things into production, not have to be worried about water, not have to be worried about like, you know, waiting for certain things to kick off, because I've got all of the resources here. It's just a case then of like getting the blueprint, creating the new object. Maybe if I don't want it myself, putting it on the player market. I actually am surprised just how, even though the market does seem dead in comparison to when the game first started, it's still there. Like, even though the player base has dropped off, you can still sell stuff on the player market. And I was actually quite surprised by that when I recently did it, and I got 3 million, I was like, I put tons of what I thought was crap that I thought even if I'd put on when like the player market or when there was tons of players around, might have been hard to sell, but there's no one around and it sold within a couple of days, and I was just like almost gobsmacked that it all sold, and I was like, oh wow. It sold. I got rid of all my junk and didn't just have to despawn it, and I actually got some decent money out of it, so nice surprise. Oh yeah, aluminium. That's why we come here. Let's go and get some aluminium. This thing will still be going because 16 units will take the best part of 5 minutes probably. Got 17, so I only need 16 to fix the power unit. Fix that now. Colbert paste, that's another thing I'm going to need to go and get as well, because everything, when it comes to making components and like all of your things that you wear and the weapons and stuff like that, and a lot of all the facilities as well, they all take up a lot of Colbert paste and silicon. Like Colbert paste and silicon are like your mortar, like most things require it to make it, so you always have to have plenty of that stuff. I tend to kind of stock it, at least the raw resource, as much as I can, and even when I don't think I need it, I'll go off and do a run, just because I know at some point down the line it'll save me time having to go out and do a dedicated run for it if I don't already add the resources. At the moment you can see I've got like 2,384 in somewhere in in my storage containers, because like I said, I don't know where all the stuff is. Like half the containers at the moment because they've literally just been chucked into any box, apart from the stuff I stored away properly a while back. But since I've done the move, everything is just everywhere. It's like when you first move home and you've got literally your whole house and it's just full of junk everywhere. Like every room's just like unsorted, just boxes everywhere, and you kind of, when you're trying to find things, you have to rummage through your boxes to work out what's where and like the things that you need just to like survive. And that's kind of like where I am at the moment. I'm in my boxes in my new house with tons of boxes lying around, but apart from the odd thing, I've got no idea where half my stuff is, other than it's in one box somewhere in this whole building. Because I do have some box, like while I do have one room where I've got a load of the small boxes, I do have the odd box that I just randomly put, which I just wanted the box on every floor, so that I've got storage places where you can store things. But yeah, I didn't choose what was in those, so I just literally took a random box and put it where I wanted a box. I just thought, I'll sort all of this out later and work out what needs to be in this box. But effectively what I will be doing is swapping all of these medium ones, or small ones. Is this a more medium one? Yeah, because this is a medium. Now that's called storage container, and then there's a small one. So this is kind of like what I would have. This is what I currently call a medium, because there's actually two ones actually below the actual what I call a medium. Actually thinking about it, this is like the smallest one, and you need scrap to make that, or salvaged metal. Sorry, I sometimes I speak in Rust terms, not because I play Rust, but I watch quite a bit of Rust YouTubers because I love watching it. And then you've got what I refer to as the medium one, which is probably really the small one. And then this one I class as the medium one, and the medium one I class as the large one. But when I noticed that this was medium, I was like, so they're going to build a large one then. Maybe but then I don't think they will anymore. I think since they've obviously they went down the lines of having the actual container that you pick up with the ornithopter, I think they'll probably stick with that and just have that as one that you can move. It obviously now probably does make sense that they make one that's bigger, but I think based on some of these names that they were expecting to do bigger ones of some things, because I think there's another item that is a kind of processor that says it's medium. Yeah, so this one, the chemical refinery, this is the medium, but this is actually the largest one you can build. So rather than call it a large, they've called it a medium. Yet there is actually 2 other levels. So there's like the beginner one, which I refer to as the small one. Then the medium one, well, what I call the medium one, but it's kind of whatever it is. Again, it's a small probably. And then there's this medium one, which I refer to as this big one, but actually and the name of it here, it's called the medium one. It's like, and they don't call it extra small or small either. So it's just like they kind of have this one where it's just like it's just a chemical refiner, and then there'll be a small chemical refiner, and then the medium one. The naming conventions on some of this is a bit wacky, in my opinion. I'm wondering whether to get aluminium. We are definitely going to need that aluminium. The aluminium I've got in here is going to take an hour at least to do, I think. Oh, 2 hours. 2 hours. Oh, well. So it's not going to finish until 11 o'clock GMT. Okay, well, we'll let that keep cooking. We'll go and get some more ore stuff for aluminium. Then we should have enough to we get 1 aluminium per delirium, don't we? So what we're probably going to need actually is more justatium crystal, which is the stuff that allows us to transform the aluminium into delirium. But I'm not going to go after that because I can only stomach the radiated zone for so long. It's just a pain having to go around in a radiation suit and having to keep cycling for everything. So for now, I'll fill this up actually because I just noticed it's low on fuel. And while it doesn't matter in the scout ornithopter, in the assault ornithopter, it's a little bit more painful if you run out of fuel. Well, a lot more painful. It won't fly without fuel. And I don't have a fuel cell in there. Like, I swear I put 2 big ones in there. Maybe I used them. I think I did use them, didn't I, the other day? I keep forgetting how much the carrier uses up when it comes to filling up. Like, it drinks the fuel using it, and it to actually fill it up requires 2 large fuel cells. I can only make 1, but that's enough. But I'm only going to do the assault on a helicopter anyway. Should be enough to mostly fill it, if not fill it all. I think a large one should fill it. I think it's only the carrier where you need 2. I'm sure that the assault helicopter only requires 1. I might be wrong. Might be 1 in a bit. Oh, actually, there's some large ones there. I just noticed. Oh, maybe that's what I did. I forgot to forgot to empty it. Oh well. Yeah, that was it, wasn't it? I made so many, but I was in a rush, so I just took a couple while the other ones were cooking. I'll fill this up, as we've got quite a few others on them. That's 98. Well, it's almost full now. Now it's full. 100% full. This will probably use that rest of the cell to fill it if it's empty. No, it might already be full. I hardly ever remember to fill these up, which is why I'm doing them all together. As I've got the actual fuel cells, it just makes sense to remember to fill them. Oh, we still got a little bit spare. Okay, the only other thing I need now is water. And I still haven't built a water supply area, so if you know me by now, you'll know that I'll always make sure that water in my bases is easy accessible no matter where you are. So I build these things everywhere, at least one in every level or different area, so that no matter where you are, you can always fill up. It just makes it easier. Oh, and I don't have any water system. That's not very helpful, is it? Oh well, I'll take whatever little water I've got. That should be enough to do another run. If we were staying out like too much long, like for a very extended period, that wouldn't be enough. And if we were in a deep desert, that wouldn't last like any more than like 10 minutes, if that. But we're not in a deep desert. It's not quite as harsh here. And we're only quite close as well, so if need be, we can quickly rush back to the base. And you don't lose any water as soon as you're inside the base because it's all water sealed. Even though it says you're water sealed when you're in the deep desert, even when you're in the base, you'll still notice that you'll still be using a little bit of water. It heavily reduces, but it doesn't drop down to 0 usage where it does when you're in Hagga Basin. So back to the farm. Grinding of getting materials. Why do I do that every time? I don't empty as much as I should be. Drop? Oh, it's nothing in it, is it? Yeah, to fast drop you have to have items with a similar thing in there, so when I went to empty there, I was just not thinking really, but I'm just so used to quick dropping. But because I don't really have any of those in there, it was saying, well, there's no items that match what you're trying to quick drop, so you can't. Job them because I'll come around here, I'll go around the other side a little bit further, get these 2 nodes, go back, drop, and then we'll go around the other side and get the last node. Then we'll go on the roof, or what I call the roof, but the top. The final one on the lower level. Yeah, we are getting towards the end of the stream. Oh, we should have actually finished the stream by now, but I'm like, I'm like in my normal phase where I'm like, but I just want to do a little bit more. To be fair, if I ended the stream, I'd still be doing it anyway, so I might just keep the stream going until I finish. I do need to finish soonish anyway, because I do need to go to the gym. Because the reason why I do the earlier streams on the Tuesday and Thursdays because they're my gym days as well as over the weekend. So yeah, that's effectively why I finished this time, and why on a Monday, Wednesday and Friday I run to the 8 o'clock time. It's just because I found that when I was doing it always at 8 o'clock, it was just a little bit too late for me to go to the gym. Or it just felt a little bit too late for me to want to go to the gym. And the better way for me to do it was to basically finish the stream earlier on a couple of days and have those days as my gym days. Obviously, other than when I'm off, because it doesn't matter when I'm off, I can just go any time of the day, although actually that tends to be worse, I find. But just because you think you can go whenever you want, and that actually doesn't really help the situation, it kind of makes it worse, because you can go whenever you want, it's like, well, I'll just do it in 10 minutes, and 10 minutes becomes 2 hours, and 2 hours becomes the whole day, and before you realise you've missed go in the gym that day. So that's why I kind of say it's sometimes, as good as it can sound, it has a negative, even though it sounds like it's better. Like over the Christmas period, I think I went to the gym twice. Yeah, I'd planned to go every single day while I was off. So it just shows you. And I'm highly motivated to go to the gym as well. I love the gym, but sometimes when you just want to rest from stuff, even the gym is like, you want to rest from that too. Well, I did. So I did a little bit just to keep the rust off, but yeah, I did have a bit of a rest over the Christmas period. I don't think I've ever landed up on this part, but you know what? I thought I'm that high already, I may as well. Probably use less fuel rather than trying to dive bomb down and then have to use a ton of energy just to stabilize it, rather than slowly hover down a little bit. Seemed like a good idea. Guys, if you have any questions about doing awakening, want any advice, I'm not sure whether I'll give you the best advice, but I can certainly give you my experience. So do ask any questions or leave any comments in any recordings. I do generally read all comments at the moment, at least. So do feel free to always leave comments and stuff, and I'll respond where I can. I obviously do have technical videos that go out as well for people who are having technical issues that I might have the solution to. To be fair, there are loads of videos out there already that do talk about the basics. So any of the videos that I produce are generally very technical videos, or I try to actually dumb them down as much as I can and make them useful for anyone. But they do dive into the more technical aspects that would not be covered generally by other people. that's because I can dive deeper into it because I have a greater understanding than a lot more players or a lot more people through my experience and my years of technical knowledge and stuff. So I share what I learn and what I know and use my skills in order to find solutions to my own issues, but then share them out, because when I come across any of these issues, I actually do my own research to find out whether anyone's actually done a video on it or whether anyone's talked about it on like Reddit or any of the other, support places that you would generally see people go to when they've got technical issues, that they start asking other community members or just people more experienced than them maybe how to fix things. So I always check those places out first just to see whether or not someone has brought something out, because obviously I don't try to reinvent the wheel. There are plenty of content or people out there who are literally regurgitating content because they've got none of their own ideas. They don't know generally how to fix this themselves. They just basically regurgitate the same old useless garbage. I say useless garbage, it's not useless garbage, but it's generic troubleshooting, which is very basic, which if you have no idea or just no experience in PC or just technology support, that's fair enough. You need to understand that stuff somewhere, and there is varying levels of quality of content that's produced to try and help with those, or help people understand how they fix those issues. But a lot of the information is just, you'll see like 10 videos and they'll almost be all exactly the same, all not very well produced, some of them betterly useful than others. And I always find it's useful for people to understand why technically people should be doing these things and what each of the things actually do, because until you understand how it all works, you won't really know fully how to troubleshoot. Like if you get told if you see someone tie your shoelaces, does that help you? Well, technically yes it does, because you can see how it's done, but until you learn how to tie them yourself, then you're not actually really that competent at actually tying shoelaces. Like watching someone do it and then actually doing it yourself is a different thing. And when it comes to some of these tutorials, some of them are too basic and they don't explain enough, because if they explain just a little bit more, people would actually realize that some of the other things that they could do would also help them with their own troubleshooting, because there are a lot of interconnected things that effectively affect things in different ways. And the greater your understanding about how all of that works means that you become better at fixing your problems. Is that? It is an aluminium oil. I missed one. So yeah, you'll find my videos of pretty, like, if I don't go into the technical details of exactly what it does, I will always give you reference points where you can, if you want to go and do that extra research about what it is it's doing. Sometimes I may just get, like, for one of the fixes I provided last year, I provided a script that basically did everything for you. And the main reason I did that was not because I was trying to make it useful for everyone, but ideally I was at the same time. I was mainly doing it because there are some quite complex commands in that remembering off by heart, even I don't generally remember off by heart. It's kind of like, oh yeah, I know roughly how that command is, and I'll go quickly check, because I don't use it every day. Like I used to do technical support, and the more you do your technical support and it becomes your day job, you just remember all the commands. Now there's tons of things I used to do years ago that I need the commands for, and I just used to rattle it off. Now if I try to remember it is, I'm like, yeah, I remember there's a command for such and such, but I can't remember what that command was or is. So I'll have to just quickly go off to a website, just double check what the command is that I need to run, and then once I know what it is, and all like the sub commands of it, because sometimes there'll be commands and then there's like what I'd call trigger points, or like sub points that you can kind of put into the command that will get it to do a little bit more than just the raw command. Just kind of by like using like the minus sign in M or something like that. It just adds kind of more configuration to the commands you're running, essentially. Oh, water's actually done better than I was expecting, because I was half expecting to run out while we're out, but we managed to get through the run. The water's still running. How much left? 20 minutes. Okay, well, I'm not waiting 20 minutes before I end the stream. I will be ending the stream just momentarily. So thank you very much for joining us for today. If you, like I said, if you've got any questions either about Dune Awakening or GTA, I'm definitely not the right person to speak to about that. Although I have limited experience now. I've been playing it for about 3 months. So I can tell you, at least from a new person's perspective, what I've discovered and what I feel is good for new players and what I found isn't so good. But there are plenty of really good YouTubers out there where I've got my information from, and I use their information and not experience as my base of what I try. And like I said, some of it depends on your playing style as to whether or not the advice you get given is useful for you. Some of it isn't. You kind of need to work that out for yourself, whether the advice that's been provided is useful for you. And that could depend on your playing style or depend on what your end goals are in the game. Obviously each game's different. This game is more of a kind of, well, it was supposed to be PvP out in the deep desert. It's far from that, but maybe at some point it might get closer to what they thought it might be, but at the moment it's more of a bit of a playground out there and just a massive big desert. And yeah, you can go out and do spice sand harvesting and dodge worms and get a carrier and get your harvester if you want to try and do it solo. There's some tricks to doing that. At some point I will do that on the stream, but I haven't got that far yet, at least the harvester side of things, just because yeah, there was a period where it was too risky to do it, because if you lost your helicopter, you just literally lost it. Now you do get it back through the ship recovery or vehicle tool, but that's not the reason why I haven't done it now. It's just because I've had so many other goals to do that doing that is kind of like something I'll do down the line. But yeah, it's not something we're in a rush to do it. If I'm honest, I think I want to get more confident with the carrier and being able to just jump in the carrier and be able to pick things up easier. At the moment I do struggle a little bit to capture things properly and pick things up fast, where I find that I normally get up there for a while trying to mess around, get the grappling hook to gravel up the thing that I need to do. That sometimes I get it first time, sometimes I'm like there trying to get it a few times because it goes to pick it up and then drops it again. And you can't afford to be able to, be that incompetent rarely when the worms come in. You need to like get in it, get up, get the thing up first straight away, and get out of the danger zone. Yeah, I think I'll end up losing at least the harvester a few times if I did it right now, but we'll see how that goes. Anyway, thanks very much for today. Do consider subscribing if you do like the content. Yeah, I haven't fixed that there, but you can see the backdrop. But thanks very much for joining us today, and I hope to see you again on tomorrow. Tomorrow we're in GTA, so see you at 8 o'clock. Thanks very much. Good night.